Burnout isn't just about working long hours and burning the midnight oil. Instead, burnout can come about due to your relationship to work and how you view success. In this video, I want to discuss how mental models can contribute to burnout. Mental models are your assumptions, your beliefs, your thought patterns, how you view the world. And these mental models are often instilled in us during childhood. You can think about mental models as your operating system for any techies who are watching. And this operating system is running in the background. You may not even be conscious of it. The mental models, or your OS, are dictating how you handle stress, how you interact with people, what you think about yourself, what you think about your career overall. The challenge is that your mental models can become outdated, and that's what can lead to burnout. So I want to talk about an example of a positive mental model from someone I really admire greatly. Her name is Sara Blakely. She is the founder of Spanx. And what she learned at a young age was this: it is okay to fail. When her and her brother would sit down at the dinner table, her father would ask them, "Tell me, how did you fail?" If they couldn't come up with anything, her father would say, are you taking enough risks? Why aren't you failing? And really help Sara understand that failure can be an opportunity to learn. You think about what happened then as Sara grew up. She had these mental models instilled in her from her dad. Failure is okay. Go out there, take risks. It won't be the end of the world if you try something and you're not good at it. It's not surprising then that Sara Blakely went on to found Spanx with a mere $5,000 of her own money. She had this big dream for her life and this message from her father, go after it, try. Conversely, you can think about someone who grew up with the mental models of it is a dog-eat-dog world. This person may have had a parent or a mentor who taught them, you need to be ruthless. You need to go out there and conquer or be conquered. And so this person may go on, potentially be quite successful. Maybe they are a prominent figure. People look at them and think, oh, they are amazing. Well, this person could also have left dead bodies in their wake. And I share this because you could be watching and thinking, well, I believe that it's a dog-eat-dog world, and that's fine. My point is the mental models are not necessarily ones to be defined as good or bad. We shouldn't have a black and white perspective of mental models. Instead, we have to determine, based on the chapter that we are in within our own life, based on our own values, based on our vision, based on who we are now as a grown adult, do our mental models resonate with us? I'm going to share an example from a coaching client I worked with a number of years ago. I'll call her Sara. She came to me because she was in the process of recovering from burnout. She actually ended up taking 2 years off work, and she spent a large portion of the 2 years in bed because of burnout. And when I listened to Sara's story, what I learned is that her father instilled a few different mental models. Specifically, you had to be perfect at all costs. If Sara came home with anything less than A's, she was in trouble. You had to be productive all the time. This means that Sara not only was excelling in school, she was in sports, she played an instrument, she was volunteering, she started working early. And then finally, third, Sara received a strong message from her super strict, serious father that there wasn't time for fun, that fun was foolish. And you can see how these mental models then would be carried into Sara's career. They absolutely served her in some respects. She was able to attend college, went on to graduate school, she joined a prominent consulting firm, and she did very well. She climbed the ladder for 10 years until at the age of 25, her body crashed and burned. She was working 80+ hours a week. She was traveling all the time. She was not sleeping well. She wasn't eating right, not exercising at all. And what Sara said when we first started working together is that she had treated her body as though it was robotic. She kept pushing and pushing. There was this brute force mentality. And she wanted to reimagine what work would look like as she pursued a new opportunity. And so the two of us devised a plan for her to ensure that she worked out at least 3 times a week. She had 30 minutes scheduled per day where she could take a walk, actually eat food, breathe, just pause instead of powering through the day and then collapsing in bed. And we also ensured that Sarah had weekly activities that brought her joy. Sarah wanted to have more fun in her life, and she discovered salsa dancing. Every Friday, she would leave work at about 5 so she could attend salsa dancing classes. And what Sarah told me is she wanted to be very mindful that she didn't burn out again. I think there was some fear, as you can imagine. I share this example because it may resonate with you. I work with a lot of high achieving, high performing, very successful coaching clients who have to reevaluate their mental model. And that leads me to you. If you're watching and you want to understand your mental models, what I would suggest is writing out your story. I completed this exercise as part of a leadership coaching training I attended a number of years ago, and I found it to be quite cathartic, where I would literally write out what were those messages that I learned from my parents. What was their relationship with work? Were there any pivotal moments that stood out that really impacted my success overall? And for example, you can think about someone who is told, at the age of 10, you absolutely need to follow this career path. There's one career path, that's it. That's what you need to do. Versus someone else who was sat down at the age of 10 or told by parents, follow your heart. Do what you love. There's a lot of different paths out there. And next, what I recommend is assessing whether or not these mental models really align with where you are in life. A good exercise to determine this is, do you find yourself in this expansive state when you think about mental models? Or do you find yourself in this constricted state? As an example, I recently worked with a coaching client who received the mental model that he had to be perfect. When this coaching client would make a mistake, it would often take him days to recover. He would just, beat himself up. You can imagine that can lead to this emotional exhaustion. And so the two of us are really working on, how can we ensure there's more grace? Because we all make mistakes. And also this coaching client, as a senior leader, wants to encourage his team to take risks and not feel like they have to be perfect all the time. So it's really important to assess those mental models. And then finally, determine, are these mental models hurting you? Are they helping you? And is it time for an upgrade? And it's really important to know that these mental models, they are not set in stone. You have the power to change your mental models. You have the power to challenge those mental models. And ultimately, you want to think about, again, what are your goals in life? How can you sustain productivity without burning out? So I want to hear from you. What are your mental models? Include one below in the comments. If my content resonated with you, I would be grateful to have you a part of my community. Please like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time.